Olá, galera. Boa noite. Bem-vindos de volta para o stream de Disco Elysium depois de aproximadamente 1700 anos. Eu tava numa fase que eu não tava muito com foco para fazer live. E também, recentemente, eu atualizei meu computador para Windows 11. Eu tava com o cu na mão de ter perdido meu save, mas eu testei outro dia. O save ficou lá, porque já aconteceu de eu perder save com atualização de Windows. Eu esqueci completamente de fazer backup. Mas vamos que vamos, continuar. Eu nem lembro direito o que tava acontecendo. Nosso áudio tá alto pra caralho aqui pra mim. Peraí. Ah, é. Vamos aqui na capelinha. Falei com a Portrait Accident. E sequer lembro dos comandos agora. Meu Deus do céu. Tô achando que aumentaram o tamanho do texto. Eu não lembro de ser grande assim. Me parecia menor, pelo menos. Sei lá. Bastante coisa acontecendo. Caralho, vamos ver o que a gente prioriza. Já que eu tô aqui perto, eu vou sair perguntando pela tal da Ruby. Mais uma vez, peço desculpas se rolar barulho na janela, porque essa rua é barulhenta pra caralho. Mas eu espero que esse microfone não capte. Ver por onde faltou perguntar, porque acho que eu perguntei pra todo mundo que eu me lembro. Não sei.
The light vanishes inside the concrete slit. The structure goes deep under the earth. Maybe it's just a storm drain for the sewer.
No idea. Could be connected to one of the buildings around here. We might find her down somewhere. There's an old storm drain system beneath Martinez that's mostly collapsed. Revachol sewage system has been built and rebuilt 4 or 5 times now. In conclusion, she could be under any building. I hope not.
There's no echo and no answer.
E aí, Fita? Tudo bom, meu querido?
No, I'm afraid I can't help you with this one off.
So you haven't seen any...
No, I'm sorry. As I said, this is just a day off. We just arrived anyway.
There's something friendly and familiar in how he says that. A day off. There's nothing else to do with the traps at this time.
Sou muito burro, acabei de lembrar que tem controle de volume aqui no microfone, pô. Caso minha voz esteja muito baixa ou o jogo muito alto, me avisa, galera, porque eu espero que tenha passado minhas configurações do OBS certinho do Windows 10 pro 11, mas who the fuck knows, né?
The depot. The wind has blown a sand dune in front of it. The door hasn't been opened in a long while.
Esse narrador fala com umas pausas engraçadas assim na dicção dele, porque, sei lá, é estranho.
Yes?
Vou continuar procurando, que toda vez que eu acho que eu tô completamente perdido no jogo, acontece algo que me faz progredir. Então é só persistir, né? Vamos ver.
Hello again. My associates? I haven't got much to say about them. Of course I do. I just don't tell people about my friends and who they are and so on. I don't provide information on them. Me? I'm a silver bird. Don't know what makes you think it'll be any different later, but...
Tendinha da rave. Uns carinhas que estão querendo abrir uma balada ali, né, dentro da igreja. Só que tá tudo cheio de dependência. Eu preciso resolver o problema da tia lá antes dessa quest terminar, para que eu consiga falar com essa moça. Nossa, tem um cachorro latindo fino aqui, velho. Não sei se o microfone tá captando, espero que não. Aqui.
A scattering of bullet holes is spread across the cracked wall, reaching from one corner to the other.
se tem alguma coisa que eu consiga aumentar Visual Calculus pra conseguir interagir com essa merda aí na parede. Pior que eu acho que não tem. Não, só tem coisa que diminui Visual Calculus, que merda. Foda-se. Foda-se. Opa. Dinheiros. O real desse jogo deve estar valendo mais do que o real nosso. Essa bosta. Caralho, tô perdidão. Perdidão. Tentando tomar água sem cotovelar o microfone. Tá foda.
Hello, mister.
Esqueci de falar com ela.
Luby.
Lily.
Ruby. My mum tells me I'm a big girl, but she doesn't know that I can't say Earl. Or like, sometimes I can, but then Uller.
Kids.
Fofinha.
Bye!
Hello. Porra, eles deviam manter o zoom que eu deixo da câmera. Eu gosto de deixar o zoom out no máximo. Porque de que adianta ficar com a câmera tão perto? Só que, porra, toda vez reseta, velho. Eu saí de um lugar, reseta isso. Ah.
The old woman still hums her unknown song. She opens her eyes to acknowledge your presence.
Nay, I haven't seen anyone lately. This is my little cinder block town. I know what goes on around here.
Ó, vem esperta.
She's being evasive. She knows something.
There was a murder in Martinez. She might be a suspect. We would appreciate your help.
Would you now? I know how this world works, and it doesn't work when people tell on each other. Ah, I should have known. This is yet another union mess. I'm not afraid of them, you know. We are not in the habit of being afraid around here.
Enough of this. She better start talking right now.
There's not much to tell. People come and go. Now, was there something else?
Para de
I see.
esquivar, velho.
I hope you don't mind if we look around anyway.
Ruby was here.
Ruby.
You know it.
Ruby.
Ask her about lodgings.
Pode lavar minha jaqueta, por favor? Ai, que sensacional.
Stay? Most people here are trying to leave. That said, if lodgings is what you're looking for, I've got a free room in the shack. I won't charge you for it.
Ah,
Take it as a gesture of goodwill from the village to the RCM. Don't make an old woman regret opening her house to the police.
falei. você fica 20 anos sem jogar, você vai jogar, você tromba com a veinha, de repente tem uma quest nova, ganha
Well,
item. Esse
if
jogo
you
é
are
muito
not in the
louco.
hostel in the morning, I'll know where to find you. Here, in a shack.
Inclusive porque eu precisaria de 20 reais pra... Acho. 20 reais pra dormir na porra do hostel lá. E a veinha ofereceu o bagulho
He's
de
a little
graça.
relieved you're no longer in that room.
Fora que tá completamente destruído o quarto do
Should he?
hotel.
This environment encourages one thing, and one thing only. Drinking.
Vou perguntar se ela lava minha jaqueta.
I
Foda-se.
can wash it for you. But it's going to take about a half an hour. Think you can stay put for that long?
Oh,
Hell yeah.
hell yeah.
No, we must run around ceaselessly. It would be too...
I could use a breather. It's been another track and field day.
Bora.
Well, hand it over then, and I'll see what I can do. Must say,
Mecânicas desse jogo,
I'm
velho.
proud of this one. It's pretty nice underneath all that filth. I hope you'll have an easier life in your hands.
Sweat like a pig. Sou eu, gente. Num dia normal, fico suando igual um porco mesmo, lazarento. Muito triste. Essa vida. Ó, tô combinando com o meu chapéu, agora que eu vi. Calma. Com essa roupa, foda-se. Ah, legal. Aqui não tava disponível pra entrar. Agora que a Venha ofereceu os negócios, lá a chave, eu consigo entrar. Vai que eu acho alguma coisa pela Ruby.
The door has seen better days. The layer of paint has started to peel off due to the salt and wind from the sea. Even the lock looks slightly rusted.
I'll wait outside to give you some time and privacy to check out your new living arrangement and look for any signs of Ruby. But just so you know, after we are done with the day, I'll still be staying in the whirling in rags for the night. We'll meet in front of the shack in the morning.
Beleza, você não destruiu seu quarto, meu querido. Fica à vontade.
The key turns with a satisfying click. You can enter the shack now.
Check full. Mas tem mais alguma coisa pra clicar? Não, foda-se. Calma aí. Vários clicáveis. Itemzinhos. Church. Eu gosto que em nenhum momento o jogo fala se é 1939, 2039. Negócio meio retrofuturista. Não tem menção nenhuma de século. Então é aberto a interpretação, né? Quando que é o negócio. Que se passa.
As you look at the floorboards in this corner of the shack, it's clear one of them isn't quite level with the others. The edge of a floorboard next to it looks scratched. Hollow space underneath the floorboards is dark and damp. You can barely make out the mixture of sand and sawdust below. Nothing particular catches your eye. Looks like more reeds. There might be something hidden inside the sand, though.
Isso aqui é um barbeador? Acho que é, uma gilete.
Something bad. Someone's night thoughts. A last resort. A bad idea.
Mete a mão aí que você
You
já fez
stick your
pior.
hand in and start combing through the sand. Dry, not like outside.
Aí, ó.
Fine dust. And then, something hard wrapped in paper.
What is it? My dick.
A small cylindrical object.
Eita.
You pull it out. A bullet. The floorboard doesn't care. But maybe the washerwoman does. You have enough to confront her with. Holding the bullet, you get the feeling this isn't ammunition against you. It's for herself.
É. Yes.
An old mirror hangs on the wall. You see the reflection of your face in it, adorned with the expression.
The expression. Eu adoro. A expressão, no caso, é essa daqui. Muito bom.
Like the rest of you, it comes from a bad place somewhere in the past. That's all you know for now. It's too late.
Jogo dado, foda-se.
Like an image on film. The expression belongs to your primary motor cortex. It would take a minor neurological.
The expression.
The bed is comforting, if a bit.
Foda-se. Vai botar essa roupa aqui. Nossa, que estileira, velho. Que estileira. Holy fuck. Esse bota aqui que faz. Perception é bom. Toradão de lógica, filho. Vamos lá. Confronta a velha. Confronta a velha.
Our tenant, the policeman. I hope the waves don't keep you up at night. What can I help you with? Damn that girl.
And without anger, a long and harsh life has taught her not to buckle under pressure.
A bullet? You didn't put it there, did you? She did.
Gone and hid things in there? She's usually a good tenant, and not a stupid one either.
Bingo!
Yes, I let my room to that Ruby girl. As I've done before when she's been in trouble or just looking for solitude. I've made it clear, we welcome all kinds of people here. She came last Friday, left on Monday in a hurry. What has she gotten herself into, that girl?
Merda. É isso que ela fez.
She seems genuinely worried about her previous tenant. She's seen her hiding out from trouble before. But this seems different.
É. Ah, era minha dela, minha pantufa, coitada.
That's for the police to find out. Right then, please answer each question to the best of your ability. I'm sure we have a few.
Tava vendo outro dia a loja da Zaun, né, desse estúdio da Estônia, que faz esse jogo, que fez esse jogo. Eles vendem essa jaqueta igual a do Kim, só que puta que pariu, custa, sei lá, 300 euros, uma pena, porque puta jaqueta da hora, essa laranjinha. Kim Kitsuragi é foda.
Yes, early with the dogs, around 8 o'clock, I think.
She probably heard the lieutenant's Kanema drive by.
Yes. That is a downside of having a 130 kilowatt engine. It lets the bad guys know when you are coming.
Ah, carro elétrico, velho, que doideira.
I cleaned it, like I always do. No,
No.
she's good company. Knows how to talk to an old woman. At my age, you don't get a lot of quality conversation. So I really appreciate that about her.
Did she talk to you much during her last stay?
No, she was mostly silent this time, kept to herself. She tried not to let it show, but I could tell she hadn't come to fish. Usually she likes to cast a few lines, but this time she mostly stayed in her room. How would I know? She's a gruff one, but not violent. She doesn't go around toting a gun.
Será?
You could ask her about your hunch, that it was a desperate measure. See if she thinks Ruby fits the bill.
Aye, do tell. Exit from what?
The lieutenant stops writing for a moment. He looks at you, then at the old woman.
No, she's a fighter. Not that I know of, though she was into nice music. She once showed me a few mixtape millions she'd made. Although I guess she was pretty handy with the mechanical and technical stuff. Even fixed the heater in the shack. You should be thankful for that. I don't know. Further up the coast, she tried to leave quietly, but the hinges on that door screeched like a cat in heat. Woke me up. I heard her rushing in those heavy boots, heading up north.
Diz que a porta faz barulho de gato no cio.
You'll never find her, you know. She knows the coast like the back of her hand. You only just arrived.
É, e beldão ainda, né? Não sei de nada.
I wouldn't worry about that, man. We are persistent.
Are you sure you'd rather stay here? Get a nice cozy fire going in the heater? Seems like a better idea to me.
The felled electric mural. You feel like you should go look at it again. Step closer this time.
Uma porra daquele mural com o cara com o filho dele, eu acho.
What more do you want to know? Yes, one thing, officer. If you do find her, please go easy on her.
Fica tranquila, vovó. Só dei um soco numa pessoa no jogo até agora e ainda me ferrei, se não me engano.
She really means it. It's an honest plea.
She's a good girl. Whatever she's gotten herself mixed up in.
É como diz a música do Dillinger Escape Plan, When Good Dogs Do Bad Things. Vamos voltar lá na porra do field elétrico. Que idioma será que é esse que a senhorinha fica falando?
You see a once bright mural towering above you. The signage has peeled off over a slogan used to intertwine with the loops a long time ago. Above the mural, a collapsed roof, broken windows set in walls that are cracking and will soon also fall, and the coastal breeze rustling and sighing in the remains of the edifice. There's something in the wind. Sometimes the only way to go forward is to fail first.
In there? She could. Or she could be in the identical room over there. Or in that boat shack. In that church tower, maybe.
Vai se fuder aqui.
Why single out this one building? Indeed, somehow you knew it was here. An urban ruin gutted by looters that once used to consume money and dispense warmth and light. Suddenly, all is quiet. There is no cold hand brushing against you. The ruin in front of you is silent as a tomb.
How do we? I was really hoping she'd be in the village. Okay. She's probably north of the village, and this place is a peninsula. We already scanned most of the outdoor areas on our wild cryptid hunt, so we have an understanding of the geography, at least. And then there's the church. We've already searched that and can rule it out. I know it doesn't feel like progress, but exclusion is a step too. Anyway, we do it the old-fashioned way, sector by sector. Go over the whole peninsula, ask the locals, enter the places where we can enter first, like we did in the village. Then, if we're desperate, we can look where we can't enter. Bunkers, storm drainage, this place. I'm sure it won't come to that.
Walk the coast, the old boardwalk, the reeds. You can always come back here and talk to the wind again. Look where it already got you. Buckle up and raise your collar. This search is going to be wet and cold.
É, tem a parte aqui perto da roda gigante. Vamos dar uma olhada lá. O que piscou aqui? Caralho! O que bateu do lado da minha cabeça? Putz. Sempre tem dinheiro nesse treco aqui. Olha lá. Sempre tem uns dinheirinhos. Tá dando umas falhadas, né? Sempre deu umas falhadas nesse jogo, não entendo porquê. Ai, como é que chega na merda da roda gigante mesmo? Esqueci de chegar esse canto, né?
A man lies on the boardwalk, his limbs bent and neck turned. There's some tear, an empty cigarette package, and a crumpled kebab wrapper in 2 empty bottles of Tallulah vodka. No, there's more in there. Livis strawberry liquor.
A tragedy.
He shakes his head with genuine sadness.
Ok. Onde mais tem por aí? Aqui não é lugar nenhum. Tem que dar a volta aqui. É o jeito. Dar a volta pela vila e ir pro canto lá onde fica a tiazona do barco, eu não lembro o nome.
The dented yellow mailbox greets you with its graffito and bullet holes in the front.
Graffito.
This coin-operated viewer is facing southwest. Its coin slot is full of fossilized bubblegum, rendering the
Probably some kids.
Chiclete
This
fossilizado é
coin-operated
foda.
viewer is facing south. It has given up all its... Why place a tourist attraction in the middle of such poverty?
There was a revitalization project in 49.
Revitalization.
A design studio tried restoring Martinez to its pre-war glory. It didn't stick. They got as far as the street lamps and that statue on the intersection before something went sour. I suspect it was Evrard's Claire's doing. He muscled them out. It's how it usually goes around here. We should have done something about the Union 10 years ago. That ship has sailed, officer.
Não esfrega na cara.
Just an ordinary wall. Nothing to see here.
Joyce. Isso.
Hello again, officers. Have you come to admire my mural?
Onde mais falta procurar, velho? Ficar mais um pouco na costa pra você ir entrando onde eu conseguir entrar e ver que lá. Pelo jeito. Os caras jogando bull. Aliás, jogando petanque. A trilha sonora desse jogo é muito boa, vou ficar assoviando essa merda dessa música pelos próximos 3 dias. Pariu. Dica do jogo, não tenha medo de falar coisa estranha, é só o que eu faço nesse jogo. Esse é meu carro, galera. Esse é meu carro na noite antes de começar Acontecimento do jogo, eu tava doidão, joguei essa merda aqui, quebrei o quarto do hotel inteiro. A Joyce tá ali, caralho.
The waves are beginning to die down. Look at those little bastards. Simmer down. Simmer down, bastards.
Que da hora o brinco dela de, de anzol. Simmer down, bastards. Joyce, mas pelo
You're
visto
back.
tem a dizer.
Good. What can I help you with?
Pelo visto, com merda nenhuma. Acho que puta que pariu. Aqui vai estar o carinha falando. Don't call Abigail.
Don't call. Don't call
É
her.
o nome do cara, Don't Call Abigail.
There's no waking him.
Tequila Sunset. It's you. Your Tequila Sunset.
Idiot, Doom, Spyro, caralho.
We've met before. Don't you remember? Aha. Do you want to know how Tequila Sunset came to be?
Tequila. Tequila Sunset. Something ominous there.
Let me take a sip to moisten up my chords. Tequila Sunset rolled into Martinez last Friday. And by Tequila Sunset, I mean you. The man, the myth.
The legend.
Hey, let's not jump ahead of ourselves. This is your story. Stop interrupting. You got here on Friday to solve a case, hoping to be the early bird who gets the worm. And by the worm, I mean the buzz. Because as far as I know, all you did was get piss drunk. Word on the street is you went around the local hostel telling people that you're a police officer, and that it would be really fucked up if you shot yourself in the head right in front of them. That's pretty high concept, if you ask me.
Oh yeah, that's totally your style. The lieutenant's brow is furrowed. He's listening as casually as he can.
It was a late Saturday night when the Union of Moribund Alcoholics, were getting our drink on. Nothing remarkable about this. We get our drink on 24/7. Makes everything warm and glowy. I trust you know the feeling. One moment we hear the sound of a motor carriage revving up somewhere on the plaza, followed by a series of dings and bangs.
Do you remember the sound of wood cracking? The billboard.
Naturally, loud noises pique the interest of anybody owning a pair of ears. That's just the reality we're in. Anyway, there was a brief silence, a gasp of silence, if you will, followed by a real commotion. We heard the carriage careening towards the coast at top speed. Sounded like someone jumped the canal. We grabbed our brewskis and rushed to the jetty. Never underestimate the speed of an alcoholic. What we saw was a sight to behold. A beat-up police carriage containing you. Right there on the beach, you revved the engine and screamed at the top of your lungs, "The time hath come!"
Puta que eu pariu.
So, naturally, being the curious cat I am, I asked what time hath come. To which you replied, "The time hath come for Tequila Sunset, the end of all things." After which, your reality contracted. You jammed the pedal, plowed right off the jetty, and through the ice.
Your hands cramped on the steering levers.
We ran towards the ice whilst you crawled your way out, miraculously unhurt, covered in seaweed and shit. Like some kind of sea monster. When we finally got there, you were sitting on the beach crying.
Puta merda.
You said that your badge and uniform were in the car. It was too late to get in there, though. The carriage had sunk too deep. Recognizing a brother in need, we offered our condolences and invited you to party with us, which you naturally agreed to. We asked about the whole Tequila Sunset thing, and you told us it was your name now and insisted that we all call you that from then on. No, that's just what your mother called you. Your real name is Tequila Sunset. Just embrace it, brother. Hours. It was an all-night drink-a-thon. Then, at some point, I think it was Sunday morning, you got belligerent and wanted to talk about Revacholian women. How they're beautiful and also whores and so on. How one of them fucked you real bad. After a short while, you crossed the event horizon, looked sullen, got up, and left without saying anything.
Wow, that's quite a story.
Yeah, I bet Tequila's a fucking legend around the precinct. You must be proud to work with him.
If you only knew.
You were pretty vague about it, but you kept saying you got fucked real hard, and that we've all been fucked too.
Please, don't open that door.
No one's fucked me. I do the fucking around here.
Abigail!
It seemed pretty painful, to be honest with you. If I had to guess, I'd say you're still working through some shit. Beside your gun and your badge, you said something about your hope or heart or something. To be honest, the details are a little hazy. In retrospect, I guess you lost your motor carriage too? That's a big one. You told us that they were a bunch of fucking losers whose main interest was cramping your style.
It's more like you were cramping theirs.
A história só vai piorando.
No specifics, though. It was more about you that night. You were the star of the show. Yeah, you said it was no biggie and that you'd solve it in no time. And that you didn't need anyone to do it. You're doing it solo now.
A lot of cops go solo and hermit once they reach that level of alcoholism.
It's not meant as a joke. He's sorry for the hermit cop.
Yeah, you kept talking about how the coal mine owners were fucking us all over, just like that woman fucked you. I didn't agree with you, by the way. The spectral hand of the market makes sure everyone gets exactly what they deserve.
Você trouxa, cara.
You kept apologizing for being such a bad cop, and for the damage you've inflicted on everyone around you. You also kept pausing to knock the heel of your hand against your temples, saying, "Stupid, stupid, stupid." It's a hard thing for a man to confront his past. That's why I avoid mine at all costs. Whoop-de-doo. So now I'm a fucking storyteller. Right, why not? Better than a beach bum. It depends, really. Are you willing to help me out?
Talvez.
The gleam in his eyes and the slouch in his posture is so incredibly familiar.
Booze! Did you already forget our party? The thing I relayed to you earlier. So, have you got anything for good old idiot Doom Spiral? A bottle for a story. Seems fair to me. Classy.
Hey, Spiral Boy, you gonna share that?
Shut up, guys. I'm telling a story here. Something happened to you. Something happened to me, too. My actual name is George, but around here, you already know. I was once a reasonably high net worth individual. A founder/junior partner at a high-concept creative services agency. When my story begins, I had just landed a major contract with an insurance firm. I used the profits from my agency to finance what I called a cultural incubator. Abstract value generation, value per person, high concept stuff. I developed the paradigm, worked within the paradigm, but the burden of leadership weighed heavily on me. So I went jogging every so often to keep myself sane. It did. With my trusty Sansarique tracksuit, I felt like I could conquer the world. But now dreams are worn thin, much like my tracksuit. One day I left on my evening run. As you may know, it's impossible to clear your head when you're distracted by the sound of keys jangling in your pockets.
His eyes are clouded, his dilated blood vessels encircling his irises like stinging brambles.
So I removed the key ring and put the keys for the front gate and the apartment into different pockets to stop the jangling, you see. At least, that was the plan. I was halfway done with my usual lap when it started to rain. The reality situation became very wet, very quickly. I made my way back home and discovered that I didn't have the key to the front gate. I'd mixed it up with the key to the letterbox, which was useless. Naturally, the situation required me to climb over the gate, which I did. There was no climbing down because I slipped and landed on my ass. Reality was looking rather grim just then. Me lying on my ass in a mud pit in the middle of a heavy shower. But when life knocked me down, I always got up. So I made my way across the yard. Standing in front of my apartment door, fumbling with my pockets, I realized that I'd also forgotten my apartment key. I rang my neighbors' buzzers. It was late, and most of them didn't even answer. Those who did assumed I was trying to sell them something and hung up before I could even explain the situation. People are naturally wary of ad men, you see. One moment someone chats you up, 5 minutes later you've bought a box of edible lingerie and a strap-on. I don't begrudge them, especially since I was known to be one of the best.
Heavy is the head that wears the crown.
Just then, I experienced a moment of clarity. I still had the key to my office. I could wait out the storm there. But when I reached my office, I remembered that I'd asked one of my producers to change the locks that day. And since I hired only the best, he'd already done it, and I couldn't get in. Anyway, long story short, life spiraled out of control. I haven't gotten into my apartment for years, and my girlfriend left me because she didn't want to date a homeless man. The company, well, you see where I'm going with this. So, now you've heard my tragic tale. What do you think? Like nothing you've ever heard, huh? Tequila, I've thought about this series of events for a long time. If there was any...
Why didn't you go to the authorities?
Well, at one point they came to me, but, you know, I didn't have any ID on me, so they tossed me in jail for 2 days. I can't say it increased my faith in the RCM. No offense, gentlemen. Yeah, maybe I've exaggerated certain parts over the years. When you tell a story too often, it begins to take on a life of its own. But what matters is that it's true to my subjective experience. Anyway, that was all the story one bottle gets you. Almost empty, this one. I do. But as you can see, my fuel tank is running quite low. If you catch my drift. Interesting. Ah, this is what they use to keep the working man going. The tale I'm about to tell you is an urban legend particular to Martinez. That said, I first heard it from a former bicycle courier in Coron. There are many variations on the basic story, and the details often conflict. What everyone agrees on is that nobody knows the exact nature or identity of the phenomenon.
Are you telling the story of the headless...
Dublagem foda.
Shut the fuck up, Rosemary. Summer of 44. 17-year-old Gertrude Het is walking home from a late shift at the harbor. It's almost midnight. She stops for a cigarette near the canal.
You got a smoke on you? If yeah, you should light up. Help set the scene.
Our heroine finds herself enjoying the peace and quiet the canal provides. What she doesn't know is that her peace is about to be shattered. From behind her comes the clattering of hooves. Startled, she turns around, and what does she see? Well, yes, but it's the man on the horse that's of interest here. A man with no head on his shoulders,
Eita.
wearing a found tracksuit, searching for the legendary found cap that went missing when he lost his head.
I thought that he rode a headless pig.
Well, there are many versions of this story, the most peculiar of which has the headless found rider riding on the back of another headless man. If I hadn't lost my keys that one time, I'd agree with you. But life is a cruel mistress. Gertrude Het may have been the first to witness the headless found rider, but she wasn't the last. Oh no.
Tell him about the two feminists by the locks.
Fuck, Rosemary, they were dating. No one said they were feminists. Everyone always misremembering this stuff.
This wouldn't be the De Ponte Delgado case, would it?
What? You know it.
I've read the case file. But please, go on.
Right. Early autumn of 46. Ula de Pont and Eva Delgado are fishing near the waterlock long after the sun has set. The wind picks up. A sky already dark now blackens. Water starts falling from above. The first cold rain of the season. The women are caught in the downpour. They act quickly. Eva gathers the rods whilst Ula turns around to reach for the tackle box.
Don't turn around. Don't turn around.
When she sees something, her shriek is so violent that the residents of the nearby apartment building believe lightning has struck. But there is no lightning. Only a heavy downpour and the silhouette of the headless found rider looming on the horizon. Ula makes a run for the shore, but Eva slips on a wet rock and disappears into the cold, cold canal with nary a sound. Her body is never recovered.
Naturally, Ula de Ponte became the prime suspect in the disappearance of Eva Delgado. De Ponte maintained that it was the so-called headless found rider and that she ran, fearing for her life. During the investigation, it became apparent that there was a love triangle, the third party being some small-time businessman. I don't remember the exact details. The leading theory was that an argument broke out on the jetty and De Ponte pushed Delgado into the canal, then cooked up this stupid cover story. No, she committed suicide before she could be taken into custody. They found her in the bathroom with a rifle, her face slowly peeling off the ceiling. Not a pretty scene.
Man, that's some grisly detail. Oh well, here's to another case closed. Anyway, that's the story of the headless found rider. Pretty crazy, huh? Well, Tequila, that's part of the legend. No one knows for sure. There are a couple of possibilities, though. Some say he was an undercover cop who blew his cover and got beheaded by the vicious gang he had infiltrated. Now he rides, searching for his lost-found cap, plotting revenge.
O headless brother, where art thou?
Others claim he was a professional jockey who veered off course during a steeplechase, ended up in somebody's backyard, and got decapitated by an exceptionally taut clothesline.
Even decapitation couldn't stop his commitment to the sport. Are you that committed?
Personally, I think he was just some guy who hanged himself from a really tall tree, and the fall was so violent that his head came clean off. Coincidentally, at that exact moment, a horse happened to pass under him, and his beheaded corpse mounted it, where it remains to this day. But then, no one really knows.
For some reason, this does strike you as the most plausible theory of them all.
Isn't it? All the pieces fit together perfectly. That's how I know it's right. Anyway, to each his own. You want to hear any other stories? No one knows. Some say he stalks Martinez to this day, and can be seen near the canal when the clock strikes midnight.
He won't, though, because it's just a stupid legend.
Aye, I saw him one night when I was right shit-faced.
I actually do have one. Do you have anything to fortify old Doom Spiral? Tell me you got some story juice. If you find any, I'd be extremely grateful.
As you turn, a bright light catches your eye, making you squint. From a distant sunset, a stage light, flash photography, nowhere in particular. It's just what superstar law officers do. They squint at lights, and they solve shit. What are you, deaf? They're perfect, like rock star politician and drug addict teacher. Embrace the superstardom you've worked so hard to establish. Yeah, you have. You're a big dick cop, Dick Mullen, Salam Rocky Bayi, badass on-the-edge disco cop. Time to recede into a ludicrous fantasy world. Here we go. Camera, lights. Yeah, you know. Beneath it is just heartbreak, a pulmonary tract infection, atherosclerotic disease. This is where you say action and reconceptualize all that. Reinvent it as the world's first celebrity police officer. With a sudden flash, the world freezes around you, and you along with it. In an iconic monochrome solution, a black silhouette.
Merda, esqueci de destravar esses slots aqui, que burro.
The legend! He's back. And firstly, I got smokes and piss and a little speed to spice things up.
The scruffy-haired little boy kicks a stone while the other watches him do it. The scruffy-haired little...
Galera, acho que por hoje eu vou terminar. Começando a ficar cansadão aqui, que eu fui dormir tarde pra caralho ontem, que eu fiquei fazendo música no computador. A hora que eu vi era tardaço. Eu acho que eu vou dormir um pouco mais cedo hoje. Mas, brigadão quem colou aí, espero que tenha curtido. Eu vou voltar em breve, não vai ser tipo semana que vem não, talvez sexta ou sábado eu já continue aqui, porque essa parte do jogo tá bem interessante, acho que a gente tá na reta final. E saudade de fazer isso aqui, eu tenho uns projetos legais também em mente para quando acabar esse jogo. E é isso. Muito obrigado aí pra quem colou e boa noite e ótimo resto de semana.